everything from top to bottom. And
Yeah.
it's really helped us a lot in that we can, when approaching something like VFX, like with the Chrome Semi, rather than leaving the Semi out there the entire time, we pack it up. Because knowing that we're going to be the ones doing the effects at the end of the day, we need to be conscious to keep our effect shots to a minimum and keep things so the workload's going to be as light as possible.
Yeah, so having that ability, being able to be sort of jack of all trades, it informs every step of your creative process. So for us, a lot of the creativity and a lot of the creative that goes into it, we'll think about visual effects, and we'll also think about what's the best way to do it. What's the easiest way to do it and get the most bang for your buck in terms of how you shoot it. That can be anything from writing into the script. All right, he packs up the Semi into a thing. That's just one more effect shot, and it saves us for the rest of the short. Or it could be the kind of things when it gets down to handling the camera. How wide should we be? We're expecting to stabilize this and add something in 3D here, so we need to be this much wider. And because by doing that and having that experience, we're basically calling the shots on that. We're not handing it off. And we get that feedback all the way through and down the line.
If a shot's going to be 3D tracked, we know to shoot it at a high shutter speed so that you don't have the issues with motion blur. And if you know you're going to track points, you can much smoother.
So technically, right now, what we're running, part of the reason why we're running around having a great time at the show this year is because of all the cool new cameras coming out. But right now, we've run Sony EX1, Canon 60D. Nothing super out of the ordinary. You know, we are using one of the Canon DSLRs and using one of the Sony sort of prosumer video cameras. In terms of software, it's all stuff that's accessible. It's Final Cut Pro, it's After Effects, 3D Studio Max on iMacs. The 3D Studio we're running on PC. Our whole workflow from start to finish is acquire and finish in 1080p. So that means for us, a lot of times what makes sense isn't necessarily having the larger cameras that can shoot 4K, because we're talking about a weekly online schedule. In terms of support, one of the big ones we use a lot, and everyone asks us about the Manfrotto Fig Rig, which is basically, the nickname I guess is the steering wheel rig. So everybody wonders, what is this wheel that you guys use? You can see it right here in this photograph. And we found that the Fig Rig is awesome for DSLRs, because one of the biggest issues you get with DSLRs is your CMOS sensor scan rate resulting in skew, jello, what have you. And that's only amplified when you're holding the camera so close to where that is. So any small movements in your hand amplify, and you start to get vibration, you get sort of shaky movement. It doesn't look very good, especially if you're doing a handheld walking shot. If you're just standing here taking a shot, not so bad. But if you're trying to do a handheld walking shot, that high frequency vibration in the image throws you off. It's not aesthetic. It also has a lot of issues when you try and use camera tracking and apply it to it. So the Fig Rig basically takes your hands, pulls them out, allows you to use larger muscle groups. Doesn't take the time that you normally need to balance like a Steadicam or something like that. It's sort of the poor man's like glide cam or Steadicam almost, where you're holding it out using your larger muscle groups, and then it becomes very much about how you move and enables you to have less high frequency vibration. So we're a big fan of